feel like this is so overdue, you guys. This is so overdue. I feel like this was supposed to be the first video I had to make on my channel about Finland, but anyway, better late than never. So today I'm going to share my 10 culture shock experiences when I moved to Finland as an African from Zambia, moving all the way to Europe in Finland. You know, I'm going to share 10 points that I found really shocking. So I apologize if you hear some baby noise in the background. My son is in the same shooting room with me here. He's in a mood, he doesn't want to be by himself, so I apologize for that. Please don't get distracted. So if you're new to my channel, you are most welcome. My name is Alice and I upload videos every week, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. So today I'm going to list 10 culture shocks that I found here moving to Finland some 7 years ago. Let's get right into it. The first culture shock is the sauna nudity. This was so mind-blowing for me, you guys. Like, we never see each other that naked where I come from, and you know, seeing an older person naked was kind of like really strange for me, uncomfortable, really strange and weird, because where I come from, it's like a taboo, you know, like it's just not some, it's not respect at all, like to see an older person naked or a younger person sees you an older person naked. It's just, there's no much of that naked. But here, Finnish people love their sauna so much. I do too, and I listed that in my 7 things I love about Finland. I love sauna so much, and I got to adapt to that. So Finnish people love their sauna so much, and they have lots of sauna. If it's not like 2 million saunas in a country, can you imagine that? Like, so many saunas, and they really appreciate that. So you go in the sauna totally naked. No bikini, no underwear or anything, just like, you know, in your bath suit. So you go in there, you can sit with strangers. That's a public sauna. You can sit with strangers and have sauna. No one cares about your hoo-ha or anything going down there, you know. So that's like comfortable for them. This was so uncomfortable for me. Like, I couldn't get in a sauna like with strangers. It was really uncomfortable for me. Also, like when you go to the swimming hall, when I moved to Finland in 2013, we went to the swimming hall, and my husband went to the men's side and I went to the women's side. And when I got in there, I didn't really expect that, you know, like everyone was naked, because you have to take a shower first before you put in a bikini and go to the swimming pool. So it was kind of like really shocking, like, you are comfortable moving around naked like this, you know, like the older people, younger people, like that was really shocking for me. I couldn't do it. I just went through there and went straight to the swimming pool, and I just had to sit. I didn't swim that time because it was so uncomfortable for me. I couldn't go totally in my bath suit. That was so uncomfortable, but I got used to it now. Like, I don't really care also, because they don't really care. They can sit with a stranger in a sauna or share the same shower at the swimming hole with a stranger. They don't really care. Like, they're comfortable in their skin, they're comfortable in their nudity. So that's something that I had never experienced, and when I moved here, I adapted to it, and I am, let's say, 75% comfortable with it, because no one really cares about seeing anyone naked. The second one is greeting strangers. Like, here they don't really that much like greet strangers, you know, like we do back home. Like where I come from in Zambia, it's like a typical thing, you know, like you don't even know me and you won't even start a conversation with me. Like, you meet me on a bus or anywhere, you want to chat with me, you want to like talk to me, or you even say hi to me, hey sis, how are you and stuff. I'm not your sister, I don't know you, don't know me, but it's typical back where I come from, and we are comfortable with that. But here it's kind of strange, like somebody will be like, do I know you? Like, have we met or something? It's really like strange. So like they're kind of like to themselves, and they're not in somebody's business, you know, like they don't pop their nose in other people's business. So they just let you be and give you your own space and stuff like that. Talking about space, it gives me my third point, which is about personal space. Here in Finland, personal space is cloud 9, darling. Like, there is so much personal space, and this was so hard for me to kind of like adapt to it. When I moved here, like I experienced, like, you know, like you get to know your neighbors, you can stand outside and chat with your neighbors, and you know, just like it is where I come from, like it's a very typical thing, but here, my darling, personal space is gold. Like they have that personal space whereby at times it's ridiculous. I remember when I was in uni, like I'm going to the bus station, and you know, like how they stand, like one is standing on the other, like just there's so much gap in between, like no one is so close to each other. Like it was just weird. Like on the bus there's so much space, everyone is sitting on different seats, no one is close to each other unless it's very full bus, then yeah, everyone will be sitting next to each other. But the personal space here is, darling, it's gold. It's like at some point I do appreciate it, and at some point I don't really like it, and I miss that, you know, that thing I used to have back home, like where everyone is in everyone's business to some degree, you know. But here it's like you might not even know your neighbors that well. You might just say hi to them, but you might not really know who's living on the third floor or who's living 2 houses behind you or something like that. Like here, personal space was just something that I had to adapt to, you know, and I'm pretty comfortable with that as well. So yeah, that was it. Talking about personal space, this leads me to my 4th point, which is Finnish awkward silence. Well, Finnish people are kind of like known for being shy, but having stayed here in Finland for 7 years, I don't think that's true. Like, they are not shy people. Seriously, they are not shy people. Like, they talk when it's necessary, and they express themselves like really good, and they speak very good English. Like most people I know, they speak very good English and they express themselves really well. But this Finnish awkward silence was kind of like really weird for me when I moved here first. It was like, okay, we are having a conversation, and then you just go quiet for a very long time, and then another question comes, how is the weather? Then you respond, then it's like, okay, so do you love it here? Okay, like I ask something, and that's it, you know. But like where I come from, we talk like one is talking and one is talking, you know, like we're talking on each other. So it's like a very something that I grew up with, which I got used to, like talking while someone's talking, everyone's talking and stuff like that. Like pretty much we talk unnecessary things. I agree that we do talk a lot of unnecessary things, but here I feel like silence is also kind of like gold. I should say that. Like it's also part of the conversation, and I would say they are not shy people, but they talk when it's necessary, and that was very hard for me to get used to and adapt. And I just found it like really shocking. Like, okay, we've been sitting in this place for so long, and we've just talked about like 2 things or 3 things, and that was just kind of like, how do you go by like living like this? But now I adapted to that, and it's just that's the way they are. They talk when it's necessary, and they talk about, and when they do have things to talk about, they do talk about a lot of things that I can talk about. But I found it like really shocking how you can be this silent and be in a conversation. So yeah, it was like really shocking for me. Number 5 was the taking off of shoes at the door. Not really shocking for me, but this was kind of like, I appreciated this, you know. Back home, everyone, well, people don't really take off their shoes, like visitors and stuff. When they come, they would come in with their shoes. Like it's very rare that they would take off their shoes at the door and get in the house. But here it was something that not really shocking. I point this out, not shocking, but kind of like something that I really saw that it's very common here, you know, like, and I do appreciate that. Like they take that seriously. They even have a place where you can remove your shoes, you can remove your jacket and stuff. And that was like, okay, this is really nice, and that's something that we don't really do where I come from. And that was something that not a little bit shocking, but I had to get used to. Wherever I go and visit anyone at their place, I have to take off my shoes, and just to keep their place clean too. Number 6 is punctuality. Damn, these people are punctual. Like seriously, the bus is on time. People are punctual. Like if they tell you like we meet at 14 o'clock, you have to be there at least 13:55 or 13:50. Don't come at 14:10 or something, like that would piss them off. Like, punctuality is very important. That's something I had to get used to, because back home it's like, if you say, okay, the meeting is at 14 o'clock, oh, Zambians are gonna do it 14:30, 15 hours, you know. So if you want it at 14, you better say you want it at 13, then they'll come at 14. But here it's like, if you say, okay, we're gonna meet at noontime, you have to be there at noontime. You don't have to be like 30 minutes extra late or anything, because we agreed at this particular time you have to be there on time. This is the same, like their honesty, and I did point out this in my 7 things I like about Finland, like their honesty. So they're very honest, they stick to what they say. Like they say we meet at this time, you have to be there, don't come late than what you agreed on. The other point is the limited time you can purchase alcohol. Here in Finland, you cannot purchase alcohol after 9 p.m. This was kind of like surprising for me. Like, where I come from, you can buy alcohol at any time, any day, and they can barely ask for your ID. But here, they always ask for my ID. They always used to ask for my ID, and you cannot purchase it after 9 p.m. I think you start purchasing alcohol at 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So that was kind of like surprising and really shocking for me, and I just had to get used to it. So yeah, that was something really shocking, I should say. The long dark days, like in the winter, they have these long dark days. This was so hard for me to adapt. This was not a culture shock, but it was kind of like something that I had to get used to, and I was surprised when I finally experienced the Finnish winter, like the long days, you know, like dark days. Was so depressing and really not nice, because I was in school, and when I go to school in the morning, it's very dark, like pitch black, and then I come back, it's still dark. So it's like I could barely see any sunshine or anything like that. So it was so depressing. This was so hard for me to get used to. I'm not 100% used to it yet, but I'm just comfortable with it, and well, what can I do? I have to appreciate it. And I like the fact that in the summer we have these long days. The long days are so nice. I did list that in my 7 things I like about Finland, about living here in Finland. The summers are so nice, and I do love that. So with the long dark days, it was really hard for me in the beginning to get used to them, but now I'm a bit comfortable with them. The following of rules. Finnish people follow rules, you guys. Like, that's why their system is kind of like so organized to me. Like, everything is organized. Like, they follow rules so much. You know, like, it was so surprising. Like, okay, you're at the zebra crossing, and then you have like the pedestrian light. It's red, not green yet, and there's no car coming at all. But no one's gonna cross because it does not say green yet. So no one's gonna go like, come on, there's no car coming. You can barely just cross the road and stuff. But no, you cannot do that. Like, most people tend to wait, so like they do follow rules a lot, and that's why I feel that everything is kind of like really organized. Everything's on time, everything's organized. So it's kind of like really surprising for me how religiously they follow rules like that. I was used to bending rules a lot, but now I got used to it and I adapted to that. Other shocking thing for me was the no titles to like older people. I don't know how I can put this, but it's more like where I come from, every older person, like an adult, has got, you give that respect to that adult, like sir, madam, Mrs. something, Mr. something, you know, there's always that. I cannot call an older person, like if the person is Helen, I cannot say Helen, I have to say madam, or I can say Mrs. Helen, sorry, Miss Helen, or Mrs. something, or Mr. something. But here, it's not something that's very typical, because I remember in school, one of my teachers, I've forgotten her name, I was thinking of calling her madam, you know, like I said madam, and then she went like, you don't need to call me madam, just call me by my first name, like she says her first name. That was so uncomfortable for me to actually say, because I grew up always calling older people than me like madam, or by their like Mrs. something or Miss something, just to put that title to the name, to give that form of respect, like, you know, like it's some form of respect. But here it's not like that. You can even call like your mother-in-law like by her first name, you know, like it's just so typical. No one really cares much about those titles of sir, madam, mr, this. Just call them by their first name. So that was so uncomfortable for me to get used to, because I was brought up differently. So it was really shocking that I would call an older person by their first name. Like it was really a bit challenging to get used to, but now I'm kind of comfortable and I'm kind of used, because they want to be called that. They don't want to be called by madam, mr, or something like that. Those were all the 10 culture shock experiences that I experienced here in Finland. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.